Let's talk about Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin bulls and the Bitcoin maxis, they will not like what we are seeing in the charts, but the charts are what the charts are. However, there are a couple of really interesting factors that are going to affect how we act with Bitcoin for swing trading moves. Let's talk about it. Welcome to today's show. My name is Andy Wilhelmi, head of trading here at Bull Markets Lifestyle. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your daily show for swing trading ideas for the coming days and weeks. And we jump right into the chart of Bitcoin. Here is the chart since 2020, but we're going to start off in 2024. You see this wide downward bull flag after the strong uptrend that we saw last winter and in the first quarter this year after the story around the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, what are we seeing in this bull flag, which has been going on since March, is basically high volatility. It hits the upper end of the channel. It hits the lower end of the channel. Uptrends, downtrends, exchanging. Really nice, actually. But here's what I do not like when I look at the recent developments. After we broke the uptrend, we didn't even reach the upper end of the channel for the first time since the start of this bull flag. That's buying weakness. We broke the uptrend. Big sell-off. Okay. We have seen this before. Here. Once the uptrend is broken, we see a sell-off. Fine. We reach this blue line, the middle line of this bull flag, which has become a very important support and resistance zone. Meaning, if we're above it, Bitcoin usually goes higher. If we're below it, Bitcoin usually goes lower. So this is an important support zone now since we're above it and confirmed. But look at this. After two strong sell-off days, yesterday, Bitcoin could not hold the gains. That's a nasty looking candle selling off. This shows us there is no sustained buying right now. Today's candle exemplifies that. We're basically at the same level we were yesterday. Nobody really knows what to do with Bitcoin. We are literally in nowhere's land, which is the middle of the channel. That makes sense. But what's going to happen now? Are we going up? Are we going down? Let's take a look at the seasonality and see what this tells us. We're going back to 2020. Why are we not going back further? That's quite easy. Before 2020, we had a completely different Bitcoin world where it was basically the Bitcoin freaks, the hodlers, the whales, and some retail investors that were investing. And then we had the boom in late 2017. Then we had a big correction phase that kind of weeded out a lot of the speculative retail traders, left only the Bitcoin fans and crypto fans invested in it. And then 2020 happened and COVID happened. And we remember what happens, right? The Fed starts pumping money into the system like crazy, stimulus checks. All of a sudden, all these retail people have this free money and they have this free time because of the lockdowns to look into the crypto sector. And we get a completely new world because we get a completely new investor base. All of a sudden, crypto is not about the beliefs of building a new alternative currency to the fiat system or anything like that. No. Bitcoin now becomes, the crypto sector becomes a purely speculative investment casino. That's what cryptos are, okay? You might not like it, but that's what it is. Bitcoin, that might be a little bit of a different story, and a few of the alts, maybe Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, they might have functional use, but overall crypto is just a speculative trading asset class. It's like gambling. It's like sports gambling. Now, 2024, we go to the next phase, right? So we have the early adopter Bitcoin crypto fans before 2020. 2020 to 2024, we have the retail boom phase. Now we're going in the institutional phase with the ETFs, where now even pension funds can start to invest in crypto. This is really important to understand. But let's look at seasonality, okay? If we look at the past 4 years, what we see is that Bitcoin usually has a consolidation phase that goes from March, April to about mid-October, November. This is last year. This is 2022. April started in April. It took all the way to mid-November. Then we started the next uptrend. This is 2021. Started in April. Now it already ended in July, a little earlier. Why? Well, obviously that was still the boom phase where everything was going up. Remember, everybody was buying ARK. Everybody was buying these shit small cap tech companies that were losing money. It was the big stock party. So obviously Bitcoin started to turn earlier. But 2020, we start in March. Obviously that's COVID. And then we have a small uptrend sideways till October. And then we're going to go for the rally. So this is the next point. What happens on the right side of these yellow squares, the consolidation phase? 2020, monster up move. 2021, monster up move. 2022, smaller up move, but we do have a rally. And then obviously last year, we see the monster rally. So, seasonally, we are coming into the best month of the year for Bitcoin. November, December, January, February, March. Those are the best month for Bitcoin. Let's throw the second half of October in for good measure, so we make it about 6 months. So what does that tell us? That tells us when we look at the chart today, the one thing we definitely do not want to do is to go short. Even though the chart doesn't look that good, but we know Bitcoin can turn on a dime, and it takes one big news to push Bitcoin up and ignite the flame that will push it over 75, and then we're off to the races. So this is not a time to short Bitcoin. We know this now. That's what the seasonality tells us. Remember, we don't need to be in every trade. We just need to be in the best trades. That's what we say here at Bull Markets Lifestyle. So the short trade off the table. So now we're talking about going long. Ideally, for us as swing traders, as crazy as it sounds, the ideal option would be that Bitcoin actually breaks below this line and then sells off to the bottom of the channel, which would be around 52 to 51,000, right? We have this horizontal zone right here as well. Obviously, the big sell-off would be down here to the long-term uptrend, where we also have this horizontal old resistance supply zone. So this would make sense. Why would this make sense? I don't think it's going to happen, but it would make sense. Why? Well, we had to run up in 2020 to 2022 to all-time highs. Then we had the crash. Then we formed the base, and this was the breakout level. See how after we broke it once, fake breakout, went back down, but we didn't sell off. Then we broke out, party time. So what happens a lot of times? We're going to get a retest to the scene of the crime, which now even correlates with the long-term uptrend. That would be ideal. That's where you want to get long in Bitcoin hand over fist. I don't think we're going to go there. I don't think you want to take the risk to miss out on the upside if Bitcoin goes up and starts this next leg up after the bull flag. And it's going to be significant. I mean, if a consolidation phase like this, which has been going on for 6 months, and you have seen in the past what happens when we break out, and now we have the retail money, and now we have the institutional money, which has to jump in on Bitcoin on the long side if we break above 75. So you do not want to be left out. So how would I trade this? If you're long, I would hold, and I would add to the long position if we break down to the lower end of the channel. If you're not invested, I would buy half right now, so you got a foot in just in case we do get the bounce, right? And the scenario could be bounce up, then down. But it could also be bounce up, break, party time. And you got to be prepared for every scenario. So better to have one foot in the door by buying right now, which is a really good price, looking at this consolidation pattern. And then if we break down to the lower end of the channel, that's where you buy the second half. And if we get the complete breakdown to this zone, well, that's just a present from the gods, and you're just gonna go ahead and buy with both hands. That's how I would play the Bitcoin situation right now. The big catalyst that I see on the horizon is the election in November. Trump has clearly positioned himself as a Bitcoin supporter. The institutions are now driving the train on Bitcoin. You might like it, you might not. Doesn't matter. That's what it is. So, what do the institutions want? That's what we need to think about, and that's how we need to act. They want regulations, and then they want clarity. Then the pension funds, the institutional investors, the banks will start to invest in Bitcoin once the momentum turns around. Right now, Wall Street believes that's what we're going to get if Gensler leaves the office and we get someone that's a little bit more pro crypto, because Gensler was really anti Bitcoin and crypto. If that happens, and people believe that will happen if Trump gets elected, that is the key news factor that could turn around the momentum for Bitcoin, other than a chart breakout. That's it for now. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.